Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good
Afternoon.
afternoon,
Good
parents.
afternoon.
I know there are some parents here and
Afternoon,
my
Miss Clark.
lovely foot formers. Good afternoon. Happy
Good
New Year.
afternoon.
I trust that you are all energized and ready to work hard and to participate in school and to continue to excel and to shine and to do well. I am officially calling this meeting to order. We have an hour to do this, and we don't want to go over time. So we're going to try our best to go as quickly as possible. So we're welcoming everyone. I know my form teachers are here. Miss Dean is here. Miss Brown supposed to be monitoring the YouTube. Miss Dean, Miss Nartova, Zoom. Miss Johnson, acting vice principal, is also here with us. Mrs. Ford Brown, acting principal, is also here in the meeting. So I'm welcoming you all. I saw Miss Alicia King just now. Welcome, welcome everybody, parents, students, all friends of Mort Bay High. Welcome to this fourth form consultation meeting with regards to the reopening of school. Before we go any further, we're going to invite Miss Watson to lead us in devotion. Thank you very much. We crave your participation. Miss Watson.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. I'm hearing you. Good afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Good
Well,
afternoon, parents, students, guardians, and teachers. I wish you all a happy new year, and I pray that God will continue to show us his grace and mercy throughout 2021. Today, I just want to encourage us all to put God first in everything that we do. There's a popular saying that reads, I believed I could, so I did. God's word reveals to us a deeper meaning and freeing truth through this statement. I believed I couldn't, so God did. You don't have to do it all. God doesn't expect you to be perfect. That's why he sent Jesus to save us. He knew we needed a savior to be our strength when we are weak, to guide us, to show us the way, and to take the punishment for our sins. Let God's grace compel us forward to live out our purpose for our lives. Let us pray. God of love, you are with us in every transition and change. As we enter into this new era with excitement and even some anxiety, we recall your deep compassion, presence, and abounding love. We thank you for the gifts, talents, and skills which you have blessed us with. We thank you for the experiences that have brought us to this moment. We thank you for the work of others that gives breadth and depth to our own work. Be with us as we move forward throughout this school term, rejoicing with you and
oh,
supporting one another. We ask this in Jesus' holy name. Amen. Thank you, Miss Grant.
okay. Thank you very, very much, Miss Watson. That was very, very short and to the point, and it's very relevant because we, in this time, when we tend to be relying on ourselves and we get fearful and we get concerned, and then we forget that there is someone who has the ultimate power, and that whatever is taking place, he knows what is happening, and he also knows what the result is going to be, and that we need to trust him And in trusting Him, trust the process, because His will always be done at the end of the day. Right, so we are having this meeting to discuss the reopening of school and what is in store for the ensuing academic term and what is going to take place. As I said earlier, the time is short. I want to now welcome Miss Simon as well. She has just entered the Zoom meeting. I said earlier that Miss Johnson is online as well. Mrs. Ford-Bryan is here. I saw Miss Alicia King as well. My form teachers are here. And you know the form teachers, Miss Dean for 4O, Miss Nortova for 4M, Miss Watson for 4R that just led us in devotion just now. And Mr. Bravo is not on just yet, but he should be here soon. We have Miss Brown that is manning the YouTube for us, and Miss Simon is also here. And our parents and students, we appreciate you taking the time out to participate in consultation meeting as we move forward. Right? Without any further ado, I am going to invite Mrs. Ford-Bryan. I know I did suggest 120, Miss, but I know you have a lot to say, and I am now opening the floor for Mrs. Ford-Bryan to address the meeting.
Thank you very much, Ms. Grant.
You're welcome.
I want to welcome my parents, my students, teachers, other stakeholders who are here with us this afternoon to participate in this our consultation. A happy new year to all of you, and I do hope that you had a restful and peaceful holiday break. It might not have been the holiday break that you were anticipating, but nonetheless, we thank our Lord for sparing our lives and allowing us the opportunity to fellowship with each other for a little time, no matter how small it was. We are in a new year, 2021, and there is no guarantee that 2021 is going to be any better than 2020. But we have hope and we have the Lord with us. And with that, that gives us power, that gives us strength. So, again, I want to just add my little official welcome to you all. Now, Miss Grant gave a synopsis of the purpose of this meeting, and so I will be going into some of what she just said. The purpose of the meeting really is to consult with our stakeholders to get some feedback on some proposals that we have for the reopening of school face to face as well as virtually. As a result of that, we see it fit to invite our parents to participate in the discussion. So nothing you will hear today is actually carved in stones, neither are the proposals, as they are called proposals, they are not finalized. We can only finalize anything once we have assessed the responses that we would have gotten from stakeholders, and we see what we can implement based on all the repercussions that we would have examined. So today, what we are going to do is that we are going to throw out the proposals, and we really do expect you to respond accordingly to see what works for you, what doesn't work for you, and what are some of your concerns that you may have based on the proposals. And if you have any suggestions, once the floor is open for those suggestions to be had, please do feel comfortable to participate in the discussion. We intend to go through this level of partnership with all our stakeholders to ensure that we are all on the same page And once we are on the same page, then we know definitely that we will be achieving our objectives as an institution. And so I thank you all for sparing the time to be here with us today so that we can have the discussion. Now, having had some amount of consultation with our senior staff as well as our task force, MBHS COVID 19 task force, we came up with two proposals for the reopening of school. So here goes proposal one. Proposal one is we want our fifth and sixth formers to come in face to face starting January the 18th. After January the 18th, while our fifth and sixth formers are here with us, then the remainder of the school will be engaged online. For the following week, the intention is to have the fourth formers join the fifth and sixth formers. That will be January the 25th. While that is happening face to face, then the remainder of the school, which will be first to third form, they will be engaged online. So our teachers will be on the compound teaching face to face. And based on the timetable, the lower school, first to third form, will be engaged online. Thereafter, after the week of January the 25th, the intention is to have the fourth, fifth, and sixth formers remain face to face for 4 additional weeks. Their teaching will be face to face, which simply means that upper school will be getting between 4 to 6 weeks of face time, while lower school will be online. After those additional 4 weeks of face to face for upper school, the option is for us to have a rotation taking place between upper and lower school. So starting March the 1st, which is week 1, the lower school will be engaged face to face for 1 week while the upper school is online. And remember that the upper school would have gotten between 4 to 6 weeks of face time prior to this. The second week, we will have the upper school doing face to face 1 week and then the lower school online. And this process will repeat. And that is why we refer to it as a rotational approach. Now, there is a second option to the rotational approach. The second option is starting March the 1st, that is week 1, instead of having lower school coming for the entire week, which would be 5 days for the week, we will have them coming in 3 days for the week, which will be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Then the upper school will come in for 2 days, Thursday and Friday. While the lower school is here face to face, Monday to Wednesday, the upper school will be online. When the upper school comes in for the Thursday and the Friday, then the lower school will be online for the Thursday and Friday. It doesn't end there. Week 2, upper school will be at school for the usual 5 days face to face while lower school is online, and then the process repeat. But each time the lower school is to be here on the grounds face to face. They will not be here for the entire 5 days. They will only be here for 3 days, and then the lower school and then the upper school comes in for the 2 days. So in essence, what option 2 is saying is that the upper school will be getting a little bit more time, which would be an additional 2 more days to their 5 days within the rotational period. So this is the general proposal. There is slight difference, particularly in the rotational weeks for upper school and lower school. But for the most part, the projection for January the 18th remain the same for the two options. So we want persons to leave this meeting understanding clearly what the options are and how we intend to proceed. Please note that priority in both options are being given to our examination groups, 4th, 5th, and 6th formers, so that we can actually prioritize and beef up the content that we would have not been able to do based on the challenges that we faced last term. In addition to that, we are cognizant of the fact that SBAs need to be started. And so we want to give our exam groups as much time as possible to complete the SBAs so that they are able to transition into their external examinations as smoothly as is possible. But because we are aware that there are long-term school face-to-face, we have made provision in the two options for our lower school students to come in and have some interaction face-to-face. So what I'm going to do now is pretty much open the floor for persons who want clarity in these two options, persons who want to comment on the options, and persons who have additional questions in relation to the options that have been proposed. Any questions so far, Ms. Grant?
No, miss, I haven't seen any questions in the chat yet. Miss Notover? See any, Miss Notover?
No, I'm not seeing any questions.
Miss Brown, you see any on YouTube?
A student would like to make a suggestion. Othniel Lamy.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, good afternoon, everyone, and Happy New Year.
Afternoon, Happy New Year to you.
Right. I like what I'm hearing thus far. It seems like it can work, but one of the goals as it relates to the COVID-19 is to make a specific area less populated. I am of the understanding, as it relates to my class and a few others, that some students are comfortable online, as some are not. So I'm just asking, or suggesting that, is it possible that, for a particular class, if the teacher is at the school physically, if she could also be online in some way with those who are comfortable online while in the physical class? So, the mic is open and the students are hearing online while those are in the physical classroom hearing as well. And, she'll be taking suggestions and questions online and from the physical classes,
Okay. Okay, thank you very much for that, Lamy. We have had that suggestion as well. There might be some challenges to that, but that is exactly what we are working towards. We know that some persons have a very good internet connectivity. And we also know that there are some parents who are reluctant in sending out their children because of COVID-19 and the threat that it poses. And so for some parents, or in cases like that, it would be impossible for us to mandate that all students come in, when arrangements can be made for those students to remain at home. One of the
Right.
challenges we are having, however, is that our internet in this short order, because we are working on it in this short order, might not accommodate the the capacity that is required of it to actually stream from the classroom to students directly in that class at their homes. So we are in fact working on that. The teachers, we are prioritizing that the teachers will have a good enough or a reliable enough internet access so that they
Right.
can actually be in the classroom and have that interaction. However, the classrooms might not be fortified in the short order for January the 18th for us to facilitate that, but the staff rooms will be able to facilitate that to teach those students primarily who would be at home during that time, which would be the first to the third formers. So as it relates to the upper school, fourth, fifth, and sixth formers who will be here on the grounds, what we currently have in place is for those students to be interacting face to face, but to totally have them in the classroom and a portion of the class being at home at the same time, our internet capacity might not be able to carry that at this stage.
Accommodate.
So starting out,
Right.
we don't want to bite off too much that we can chew. What we want to do is to
True.
do it
Right.
incrementally, and then we gradually get to the place where some students, of course, can stay home. Once we have the infrastructure in place, then we will facilitate that wholeheartedly. But right now, we don't want to say that we can guarantee that happening. And then we have the challenges in between, and we have to switch in midway. Does that
Perfectly
answer your
understood. Thank you,
question,
Miss.
Lami?
Thank you.
All right, good. You're
Yes,
welcome.
yes, Miss, very much. And we have to just continually pray for the fast upgrade of the internet capacity to accommodate these students.
Definitely, definitely. And we have persons who are coming on board, other stakeholders, the alumni chapters, New York and the Atlanta chapter. They are coming on board to see
Right.
exactly what they can do to assist us. We actually last week did do an assessment of the plant and the infrastructural projections for development. And we have something working with, but of course,
Amen.
these things take time. So we don't want to put everything in the basket all at once. We
Right.
have to work strategically, and we have to do these things incrementally.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss.
You are
That's right.
welcome, sir.
Good afternoon, Miss Fort Brian.
Good afternoon.
I just need to get some clarification here. What will your class like? Class size
Can
be like?
you can you can you introduce yourself to us, please, so
I'm a
I can get.
parent. I'm a parent,
Mhm.
and I would like to know what your class population will be like for the reopening of school.
Okay, our class population size will be between 15 and 20 per classroom. That will take us up to a 3 feet, 6 feet distancing, and that is in keeping with the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education stipulations regarding COVID-19 protocols. So one form class, for example, would have 40 students. Those students, or an average of 35 to 40 students, those classes will be split in two, and so the form classes will be divided in two. We have classroom space and size that can hold the capacity of 15 to 20 students being seated comfortably, fifth, three, 3 feet apart.
Okay, also the sanitization process.
Mhm.
Does it include both Angel staff and also student? Because looking at student moving from classroom to classroom for individual subject area, that part is a very, very a sore
It's
point.
crucial. It's
It's
crucial
very,
and
very
it's
crucial.
delicate.
Right.
And it is going to take time for us to ease ourselves in it. So I am happy that you made mention of asking the question if it entails the ANSIL staff as well as students. And I must use this forum to say that if COVID-19 is really here to stay and we have to live with COVID-19 based on certain projections, then we must take a pathway in which all of us have some amount of responsibility to share. Do you agree?
I
So,
do,
yes.
100%.
So, with that, we are having some constraints with the Ministry of Education regarding employment of additional staff members to assist with sanitization. And as such, we are having the discussion wherein students will have to assist in sanitizing their space. And so we
Okay.
are currently working on a document to send out to parents and other stakeholders as to what we are asking of you to pack to send out with your students. We are considering them having their own little sanitization or their wipes. Of course, you know, masks are mandatory for them to just wipe their area and
Okay.
be very cognizant of the fact that their area and their space is their domain and they have to sanitize their area. So while we will be facilitating general cleaning and deep cleaning in the area as we move from space to space, which of course our timetable is going to reduce the number of time our students move from one space to another.
Okay.
Yes, but they too will have to take on some of the responsibility of cleaning their space. But of course, our ANZIL staff will be on guard to do the deep cleaning that will be necessary, for example, in the early morning, after lunch, and after school. Good.
Okay.
Does that assist in answering your question in
Yes.
any way?
And also lunch and break time. That is also a sore point where they have to line up.
Definitely it is a point, and you are bringing up the crucial questions that we really want persons to listen in on. Our timetable is only going to facilitate a lunch break.
Okay.
And so we are imploring parents to ensure that their children are sent out with their breakfast. If they don't have time to eat their breakfast at home,
Okay.
send them packaged breakfast or snacks in between, because we are going to try to be as flexible as possible, because there will be absolutely no lines at the
Mm-hmm.
canteen.
Okay.
And we are also going to assign students going to be rostered on lunch duties, for example. They, two students will be assigned from each class, not every day, because we are
Okay.
going to rotate this as best as possible, to take up the lunch orders. So
Okay.
lunch orders will be made from in the morning during the registration period.
Okay.
Thereafter, the lunch orders will be sent to the canteen. When this is done, it's going to be packaged.
Okay.
Students from the class will go collect the lunch, and under teacher supervision, these lunches will be distributed to the students in their classes. They will sit in their classes, distancing, of course, having their lunch, and thereafter dispose of it and then move on to their next class. So that's the plan that we have. If it is organized accordingly, which we are working on this week and next week to tidy it up as best as possible, then it should work. It should minimize any gathering at any point in time at the canteen.
Okay. And another thing, sanitation at the
Mhm.
bathroom, occupational health and safety, sanitation at the bathroom.
Yes,
Like
it
for
is.
example, um, a list should be a checklist should be in each bathroom, that one person that go in at 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock to clean and sanitize, and they do it at intervals. So a checklist is there for any supervisor or who is responsible for the bathroom cleaning or sanitary cleaning of the bathroom to check and see that that is mandated by the Anxil staff, because that is always a sore point that we see on a daily basis.
Okay, can I get your name, please?
Pauline Duncan Samuels.
Okay, yes, Miss Duncan Samuels. Maybe you should really be on our team, you know. These are the things that we are working on this week. So let me just backtrack a bit for you. The Ministry of Health, we are working closely with them. And of course, they gave us the checklist that we need to complete for them to come in and do their assessment. As we speak here, we have those schedules to be signed by supervisors. Everything is ready. What we are going to do is just organize them, mount them in strategic places. For example, the restroom at the canteen and so on, so that
And
they
the
can
different
be made
labs.
visible. And the labs, very good, so that they can be made visible. But we have been working on all of those documentations since the start of the week, or from last week coming into this week. And that is why these planning sessions are so important. We are going through due diligence. We are taking our time, ticking off our checklist as we move along to ensure that we have everything in place.
Okay, that's
So,
very
of
good.
course, if you want to volunteer to come in and assist on our committee, we welcome you.
I hear him, Miss Woodward. I hear him, Miss Woodward. But I think I will help off the air,
Okay.
virtually, not face to face, if you need any assistance. But
Okay, definitely.
going
Yes.
forward, I think it's a good idea, because what I'm seeing happening right across the board, this staring at the computer and laptops and the tablets is affecting most of these young student eyes. And unless you go to the eye specialist or the doctor, you find it out. So
Mm-hmm.
I am just imploring parents to just carry their children to check out their eyes, because it was told before that it would. And I'm seeing it happening as we speak now. So I think this is a good idea, and going forward,
Mm-hmm.
parents working with the students and the school and everybody will get a good thing going. So I just implore you guys to be on one accord so that we'll see this thing working.
Yes, I'm imploring us to be on one accord, because it is really going to take effective partnership for this to really happen and for us to achieve our objectives. It is not an easy feat, let me tell you. The planning process is not easy either. And I know that the execution is going to require of us all to be on board 100%.
Sure,
So
right.
thank you very much for outlining some of the things, Ms. Duncan. You are on top of the game, and you know exactly what we are going through in terms of the preparation. So thanks again
Okay.
for that.
You're welcome. God bless.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Miss?
Yes, I'm here.
Right. Miss Duncan, she raised a good point as it relates to the bathrooms. As you also mentioned, this could be used as well. The students could be required to walk with their own sanitization. So I mean, if I'm not certain, before I enter the bathroom that it was sanitized before the last user, I should have walked with my own spray if possible, my wipes, and those things to ensure that my own safety is cared for as it
Yes,
relates to the
agreed.
bathroom.
Agreed, definitely. But we know that we will have persons stationed at the restroom specifically for that purpose, but you cannot be too careful during this time, right? So you gave a
Right.
good point. If persons walk with their own sanitization and take responsibility for their own health and safety, then we will certainly reduce the chances of having any evidence of COVID-19 among us. And that
Wonderful.
is the aim.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Mrs. Ford Bryan, there's a question on YouTube re the collection of lunches by the PATH students, the students on PATH. What's the procedure for them if it's the same procedure as those persons would be ordering?
It will be the same procedure. So the students, be it that they are on path or otherwise, they will be having their lunches in their classroom. So the same, we know we have a standard list already of those students who would be on path. Only the additional students who will be requesting their lunches, then all lunches will be going to all classes. Those on path and those not on path.
Okay, thank you. Any more questions, ladies and gentlemen? Miss Nortover, any question in the chat?
I'm not seeing any question, but I'm seeing where a comment where the person is saying a pleasant afternoon to everyone and a happy new year. And another point we can't emphasize enough is that persons having flu-like symptoms should stay home.
Thank you very much for that one. Persons with flu-like symptoms, please stay home. At this point, we only have one isolation unit, and that is in fact a requirement from the Ministry of Health and Wellness. And let me say that with that one isolation unit, we can only hold one person at a time. There is going to be a time frame. If once we identify anyone at school who is exhibiting any flu-like symptoms and we isolate you, the parents are going to be called immediately to come for that child within 15 to 20 minutes, please. We have no space to keep them over that. So we really cannot accommodate a number of persons who will be exhibiting flu-like symptoms to isolate them. We don't have the space for it. So it cannot be emphasized enough. If persons are having flu-like symptoms, please stay home. A document is being prepared that will be sent home in terms of step-by-step process that you need to take, as well as we need to get feedback of those persons, medical feedback, medical certificate coming in to say that you are okay if you were exhibiting flu-like symptoms and were sent home. In addition to that, all students or all members of staff too who have comorbidities or underlying illnesses, you are expected to send in a doctor's certificate outlining all these symptoms that you might have and all these illnesses. So we have those on file. So we know exactly how to treat with you. If it is a case wherein we'll say to you to stay home and we will provide you with learning kits so that your teaching and learning can continue, then of course we will have to make a decision to do that. What we don't want to do is to ask these persons with underlying issues to expose themselves. Of course, you are not to. So these persons, we need to get proper documentation to ensure that we have you on our system and we have your status so we know exactly how to treat with you.
There is a question. Good afternoon. Do masks have to be purchased at school, or other masks, including disposable ones, can be worn?
Okay, we are not mandating that the mask that you wear be more to be high school masks. We are, however, imploring you to purchase the masks that are labeled Morant Bay High School because we have those masks for sale. We, however, want you to be cognizant that there are some masks out there that are not appropriate for the learning environment. And so, please be mindful of the graphics, of the signage, of what is written on those masks, because chances are they will not be allowed on the compound. So we are saying to you, in order to be on the safe side, we have masks that are prepared by the school for sale for $200. Please ensure that you get those masks, or in the event that you have appropriate masks for the learning space, no problem. Disposable masks are also allowed. And of course, please be very careful of the type of disposable mask because we know that there are some of greater quality than others. We also want to say to students, there will be signages right throughout the school. Please pay keen attention that if we get our pass and we are starting our face-to-face January the 18th, and our fourth formers will be coming in for January the 25th. Pay keen attention to the labels that we will see on certain bins and how we dispose of our disposable masks, our gloves, and all the PPEs that will be available to us. Any other questions or comments? What we want you to also say, parents, is whether or not you are in agreement with option 1 or option 2 that is presented to you. Remember that option 1 is saying for the alternate weeks or the rotational week, lower school will have an entire week of face-to-face. Upper school will have an entire week of face-to-face. Option 2 is slightly different. It's saying that lower school will have Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for their FaceTime, Thursday and Friday online, and for the following week, upper school 4 to 6 formers will come in for the entire week. So we need to know which one of those options you prefer.
And Johnson has another question. They're asking if students will be given mass breaks during the day.
Okay, mass breaks can only be given under supervision. Within the class, we were told by the Ministry of Health and Wellness that we could give a 2 minutes or a 3 minutes break, given the fact that no closeness will be among the students. So under teacher supervision, the teacher will be able to tell you to remove your mask for 2 minutes or 3 minutes, and then you can put back your mask on and the teaching learning takes place. While the mask is off, there will be absolutely no talking among the student body, but of course, you'll get that 2 minutes, 3 minutes break. If there are also, let me add, if there are students who are averse to keeping on the mask for an extended period of time also, these students have respiratory issues. So again, it is dependent on the underlying illness that you might exhibit. There is a 5 minute break, 5 to 6 minute break that we were told by the ministry that we can ask these students or one at a time to go on the outside, remove the mask, while on the corridor, and then after the 5 minutes, that child returned to the classroom. But that cannot be done for all students. So within the class, you may have a break of 2 minutes to 3 minutes to at intervals to remove your mask. And of course, certain conditions will have to be abided by for that to take place. And that has to be under supervision. Otherwise, if seen on the corridor, any at all, moving to the restroom, from the restroom, you must be wearing your masks.
Right. One last question, Miss. Um, I'm not sure if I will be assuming wrongly when I say we have a nurse. Well, most schools I know they only have one though. But will there be any increasing nursing staff as it relates to on the school compound? For
No,
those.
there will be no increase in nursing staff. What we have at our disposal based on Ministry of Health and Wellness is that if the case arise wherein we might have persons, which would be more than one, exhibiting flu-like symptoms and we need assistance, then we can call upon the hospital to assist us or any health center. But as it relates to getting additional nurse on the compound, then that cannot be accommodated at this time for more than one reasons. And one of
Right.
those reasons will include the financial cost that
Right.
is
Right.
tied to that.
Right. Right. Understood.
A student is asking, what about students who have asthma?
I just spoke about students with comorbidities and those with underlying illnesses. We need to be equipped with that information. So if there are students who are like that, of course, get the information to your form teacher, your teacher, and the guidance counselor so that we can document you and we will have the status. So we will know exactly how to treat with you. We will not say mandatory that you need to come in for face to face because that would be putting you at risk. But we need to know the students who we are dealing with that have that status so we know exactly how to make the accommodations for you.
All right. A parent responded saying that she is in agreement with option one because it sounds fair to both lower and upper schoolers.
Okay. So we have one parent here in favor of option one. Can we get a feedback though? Can the parents or the students write in the chat which option they prefer so that we can get data feedback from here? Might I add too that a Google form will be sent out through the guidance department to collect some of this very same data so that we can actually be informed by the data. We are asking you, please, as soon as you are in receipt of those Google Forms, complete them and send them back to the guidance department so that we can be informed and be able to move forward in in a relatively quick time so that we can make our decision as to which option we will be utilizing. Any other comments? Any other questions?
Leon Patterson is in agreement with option one. Daniel Walker is also in agreement with option one. So we have 4 no for option one. 4 persons in agreement with option one or prefer option one.
Okay.
5, Lamy agrees. 6, 7, 8.
Okay, so we are pretty much getting in the response for option one. I guess most persons are seeing where that is equitable for both upper school and lower school. Okay, so predominantly the food farmers are in agreement with option one.
It's for Brian. Excuse me. I want to make a
Yes,
suggestion
please.
for
Mhm.
the student wearing masks, and sometimes they go into a lengthy day. Could they travel with two
Mhm.
masks instead of one? Because sometimes one can be a bother
Oh,
right
yes.
throughout the day. I would make that suggestion for
Oh,
them to
oh,
change
certainly.
to black.
Thank you so much. That is going to be in the document that is going to be sent home. Standard protocol, one mask will not be sufficient for an entire day. And so it is in fact stipulated by the Ministry of Health and Wellness that the child or adults too, you wear one mask and you carry an additional two masks for you to change accordingly. So perhaps changing every 3 to 4 hours for the day, certainly. That is what we will be welcoming.
Yes, miss.
So
That's
thank you
just my
very much.
suggestion.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much for that one. Yes.
you're welcome.
And that one will be documented and sent home to parents as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. We are still seeing that persons are in favor of option one. So we will be taking this into consideration. Please bear in mind that the Google form will be sent out for you to complete. Do that in short order as soon as you receive same so that we can proceed accordingly. So we are still open for questions, but if there are no questions at this time and you want to think about the options a little bit more and the questions should arise, then of course, place it in the chat and we will attend to those questions as soon as possible. The branded masks that we have for Mort Bay High School, they cost $200. And of course,
Miss
the
Paul
branded
Brian.
mask will have the school logo on it, as well as saying Mort Bay High School. They are in shades of green, green with white piping, or green and white, or predominantly green.
Mrs. Ford Brian.
Yes, I am here.
Hello.
I am
May I
hearing
ask a
you.
question?
Can you identify yourself? Yes, you may.
My name is Shermaine Stewart. I'm Shamasha Sutherland's mother.
Mhm. Welcome.
Yes, miss.
Go ahead. You can
I
ask
wa-
your question.
I came in a little bit late. Could you please
Mhm.
explain the options for me again so that I can be a little bit clear? I came in just in time to hear you talking about them, but I do not understand the rotations of them. So could you please make it a little bit more clear for me how they would work?
Okay, good. All right. So option one, let me just address a question that I'm seeing. If I really do understand. Someone is speaking about the hospital mask. Those are the masks that we refer to as disposable masks. And I did say that disposable masks will be allowed on the compound. Okay. Okay, good. Let me go through the option quickly again. The proposal is that we have our fifth and sixth formers coming in for January the 18th, face-to-face interaction, while the remaining of the school population will be at home and be taught online while the teachers are here on the compound. For the following week, if all goes well for the first week, we will include our fourth formers to join us for the week of the 25th. So it would be 2 weeks for the fifth and sixth formers for the face-to-face, and then the fourth formers come in. Thereafter, the fourth, fifth, and sixth formers will spend 4 weeks face-to-face interaction, while the remainder of the school will be at home online. After that 4 week, we have an option one. So this is where it varies. So for the first 4, 5, 6 weeks, that the upper school will be here face to face. That's standard. The difference in the option comes in when we are approaching the rotational weeks. So week 1, March the 1st. Let me double check. Good. March the 1st, week 1. Lower school will be face to face for 1 week, while upper school will be online. For the second week, upper school will be face to face, while lower school will be online. And we will repeat this rotation as the term continues. So it will be a week on face to face, week off. Week on face to face, week off for lower and upper school, and we alternate. The second option for that rotation is starting March the 1st, week 1. Lower school will be face to face for 3 days, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then while they are here, those 3 days, upper school will be online. Then upper school will come in for the Thursday and Friday of that same week. So the difference is lower school will not get the entire week for the option 2. They will only get 3 days, while upper school will get Thursday and Friday. Week 2, upper school will come in face to face for the entire week. So each week that the upper school will be face to face will be the entire week. But when the lower school comes in for their face to face, it will not be the entire week, but it will only be 3 days out of that week. And then the other 2 days will be given to the 4th, 5th, and 6th formers. So that is what makes the difference between the option 1 and the option 2. Let me know if you understand clearly. Hello? Is it any clearer?
I'm Julie's mother. I don't understand clearly. Please, if you could repeat it again.
Which aspect of it you are not understanding? So that I know where to zoom into.
Reaching late. And most of it, like so Monday, what she should do on Monday coming.
Monday coming, we will have online for all students.
Okay.
Until we get a pass from the Ministry of Health and the Ministry of Education, we cannot start face-to-face interaction.
Okay.
So what we are doing here is to give you what our intentions are, but our intentions are also dependent on how prepared we are based on the regulations from the Ministry of Health and Wellness and the Ministry of Education, Youth and Information.
Okay, thank you.
So coming Monday, we will all be actively online. The expectation is that we will be ready to take on the face-to-face for the week of the 18th. And that will only be for the 5th formers and the 6th formers.
Okay.
The following week, we will take on the 4th formers who will come in, which will be the week of the 25th. And then thereafter, 4 weeks will be spent by having the upper school here face-to-face, while the lower school, 1st to 3rd form, will be online.
Okay. Okay.
So if you are looking, you will see on the screen wherein you will see the options. For option 1, we have upper school coming in 1 week. That's 4th to 6th formers coming in face-to-face, while lower school remain at home. And then the following week, lower school will come in face-to-face, and then the upper school remain at home. Option 2.
Okay.
It would be lower school coming in for 3 days for 1 week. So it will be 3 days out of the week. And then the upper school comes in for the Thursday and Friday, which would mean that lower school will not have the entire week of FaceTime. They will only have 3 days of FaceTime and 2 days for the week for online.
Okay.
And then the following week, upper school will get the entire week FaceTime. So in essence, the upper school will have far more time face-to-face than lower school. That's what the option 2 is about.
Okay. Thank you.
But earlier, we were getting feedback to say that persons prefer the first option because it seems to have a greater equity between upper school and lower school getting the same amount of time FaceTime. And I don't know if we have any updates of persons now preferring option 2.
There's one person who has now chosen option 2.
Okay. Are there any other questions? What about YouTube? Do we have any questions there? Okay, if not, then if you have additional questions, just post them in the chat. We will attend to them, but we of course need consideration and for your interaction. We greatly appreciate it. So I hand over Ms. Grant.
Thank you very much,
Okay.
Mrs. Footburn. Thank you,
You're
parents and
welcome.
students and teachers for participating in this forum. Mr. Logan, I know the time is going. We should end at 2. Can you say something, sir?
Happy New Year, everybody. Glad to see and hear from you, and I'm wishing for us all a wonderful rest of the school year. Please remember, our number one priority is to keep safe. Everything else comes after that. Even though everything goes on, but our health is our number one priority. God bless you all.
Thank you very much, Mr. Logan. Appreciate the sentiments. And there's another meeting that is scheduled for 2. On the agenda, we have something about exams, and I guess that has to do with the fourth formers who are preparing for math, and those persons who are doing additional math and getting ready for the exams, and they should have paid the fees and so on, and the classes will continue. Founders Day is tomorrow at 10 o'clock, and the link will be sent in just the same way the link for this meeting was sent to you, right? I'm cognizant of the time, and we're using the same link, I think, or platform for the meeting. The same vice principal and acting principal will be in these meetings. So at this time, if there are no other questions or concern from teachers, Ms. Nortover, is there anything you want to say, or Ms. Dean or so on? Ms. Simon, Ms. Watson, is there anything else you want to say?
No, miss, all is good here. The only thing though, just a little advice to parents and students to ensure that when the school send information out, to ensure they participate or share with a friend, advise them of what is going on with the school so that they do take part, because it's important for everyone to be here. So tell a friend to tell a friend and pass the word around so that who might not be able to and might have missed something would be able to join in the discussion for the benefit of all.
And now Thomas is asking about the students who are doing additional math. And Laurie and Hunter says that there are questions on YouTube.
There are questions on YouTube, Miss. Hold on a second. Miss Brown, I see somebody asking about whether or not they're allowed to take phones. I cannot give you an answer to that question, because there was a time when there was a device policy that was being crafted. In our discussions prior to this meeting, that wasn't something that had arisen, but I will ascertain an answer for you and you will get it via the same medium by which you get the relevant information. Miss Brown, are there questions on YouTube? Manning that for me. Miss Brown? All right, Miss Brown said no questions on YouTube, so I don't see any question in the chat, Miss Nartova.
No, only the question about the students doing Asthma. So what about them? I don't really understand what the question is.
What is the question, Anaya? What are you asking?
Good afternoon, everyone. If we are able to wrap up quickly, sorry to disturb this meeting, but there's another meeting that should have started 7 minutes ago. Sorry for the imposition. If you could wrap up, please.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Johnson. We're aware. All right, thank you very much, parents, teachers, students. Do we keep the line of communication open and we can continue to...
Excuse me, afternoon, miss. I would like to ask a question, miss.
Very quickly.
About the school fee, then if she could come in, I have to pay the school fee first.
No, you don't have to pay school fee first to come in or face to face.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Parents and students and teachers, we continue to communicate via the means that we have been communicating as we go forward. Take care of yourselves, be safe, and pray for us as a school as we try to navigate this new normal. Really appreciate you taking time out. We had about 66 persons on the Zoom, and we had 100 persons, 98 persons on YouTube. So when we estimate the numbers, the news should have been out and persons should know what Morant Bay High School is all about for the reopening of school for January and subsequent face-to-face teaching. Thank you very much. Be safe, take care of yourselves, and remember to keep the dialogue going. Thank you very much.